Today's topic of conversation is cultural differences. Now, one of the reasons I love to travel so much is purely because I love to see how other cultures work and function and how people relate to each other. So that's why my fascination is not only with travel, it's also with culture. So one of the countries that when I traveled to, I actually experienced a culture shock. You know, the culture shock that they talk about. The first time I ever actually experienced that was in India. So today we're going to talk about cultural differences between Ireland, or basically kind of any really westernized country, and India. So first up, in India, in general, women don't drink alcohol. In Ireland, women love to drink alcohol. In fact, we might drink a little bit too much alcohol, but hey. Number two, all right, this one for me was really like, oh, they really like the opposite to us, all right? So in Ireland, for example, on Saturday night going out, you should see what I do to my legs. I make my legs about 4 shades darker with fake tan. I have the glove and the cream or the mousse or whatever you want to call it, and I rub it all on so much so that I could actually pass for a Pakistani person. In India, however, they do the total opposite. The ladies whiten their skin. They use really high sun protection factor with included whitener inside the product. And also when they're putting on their makeup, they use the lightest foundation possible. So we're here trying to go darker like them. And they're trying to go lighter. So again, it just proves the grass is always greener on the other side. Another thing, number 3, that I found very weird, I suppose, to get my head around in India. But then they probably find it weird to get their head around stuff in Ireland. So it's just cultural differences. I'm not saying one is right and one is wrong. But in India, arranged marriage is very prevalent. Now, before I went to India, I would have been very anti-arranged marriage. Like, no, it's slavery and it's this, that and the other. But actually, it isn't. It's just like, for example, if your friend fixed you up on a blind date, and you end up getting married, you could conceivably call that arranged marriage because somebody arranged the date for you guys and you ended up getting married. That's how liberalised India would describe arranged marriage. Also, there's a big difference in forced marriage and arranged marriage. So in India they have, of course, enforced marriage, which I do not agree with. I will never agree with, and I think most Indian people wouldn't agree with it anyway. Then there's arranged marriage, which is more just like fixed up, like they'll fix you up. Your family will fix you up if you're kind of like my age and you haven't met somebody. No, actually, I would be too old. But in general, if you're late 20s, early 30s, they'll fix you up. And yeah, the families will formally meet, and the families, it's like an interfamiliar marriage. So they'll check out your bank statements and your history and they'll poke around. But you know what? I kind of wish my mum and dad had the cojones to do that, because I've had to kiss many frogs before I had to find my prince. So if they could have saved me all the hassle of kissing those frogs and just picked somebody for me, it might have been a lot easier than a love marriage. Anyway, statistically speaking, arranged marriages last much longer and they have a much lower level of divorce than love marriages. So who's to say who's right and who's wrong? Number 4, the wedding dresses in India. In India, it's particularly okay to wear any colour wedding dress you want. They tend to go for reds and golds and all these beautiful shiny colours. In Ireland and the West, we do white. A little bit bland, no? Well, another cultural difference that I found very obvious to me was no cutlery. In India, people eat with their hands, and that's particularly acceptable, absolutely fine, but especially in the south of India, they all eat with their hands. In the north, in Delhi, maybe a little bit more so with the knives and forks, but here in the west, if you went into a restaurant and you ate with your hands, you'd probably ostracized from society, which again, it's just different. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but another thing that was very obvious to me, for example, when we go out to dinner to eat with friends, the whole idea is to have conversation over dinner, right? You go out to have a chat and eat dinner together. In India, it's very frowned upon to have a conversation whilst you're eating. So always eat in silence. And the reason for that being is when you're eating, it's godly, it's replenishing the body, it's giving energy to the physical being, which is connected to the spiritual being. So in a sense, eating is kind of like praying. You would never talk to somebody else while you're praying. So when they're eating and they're silent, they're connecting to the gods and they're being grateful and showing gratitude for this food that they've been given. So they don't dismiss that by chatting. It's more like it's like a meditation almost. Also, in Ireland and in the West in general, bodily functions tend to be seen as rude, like a burp or a We do them, it's normal. In India, they're seen as cleaning out your body. So you cough up phlegm, you get rid of and you clean out anything dirty or nasty that's inside. Same like gases or anything else that are inside. When you get them out, it's cleaning the cuerpo, the corpse, it's cleaning it all out. In the West, we like to pretend that those things don't happen to us. We don't do those things. We're ladies. Okay, another thing that I found kind of difficult to accept when I was there, but I suppose I was in India, so I should have and I put up, it wasn't my country, but no PDAs in India, no public displays of affection. They don't happen. That all goes on behind closed doors. So for me, I'm a very affectionate person. I like to touch my friends, and if I'm dating somebody, I like to hold their hands and touch their cheek and have a little peck. I'm not talking about dry humping on the street, but I'm saying public displays of affection. In Ireland and in the West, that's okay and it's perfectly acceptable. In India, no. You don't even hold hands. You just, I don't know, undress each other with your eyes, but no touching. Just no touching. Don't do that. And finally, the one thing that is so opposite in the West and in India. In Mumbai in particular, if you're friends with somebody, you do not say please and you do not say thank you. Now, I know that very rude, I suppose, in the West. If somebody hands you something, you say thank you. If you're asking for something, you say please. In India, no. And it's not because they're rude people. It's because they see friendship as such an important thing that why wouldn't you give something to your friend? Or why can't you just accept something from a friend without having to greet them please or thank you or show manners as you would to a formal stranger? So please and thank you is not necessary in a friendship in India. Not because they're rude, because they just love each other so much and that's just expected and that's okay. They don't need to be formal about it. So once you've gotten over the initial formalities, if you like someone and you have a fondness with somebody in Mumbai in particular, there's no need to say please or thank you. If you like this video and if you like learning more about cultural differences between opposite societies, subscribe to the button below, sign up to my channel, like this video, give me a thumbs up and come back and visit me again. I miss you.